Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on CrossFit Garage Podcast, where I am trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. And one thing that comes up a lot now that I'm turning 50 is the health requirements or environment of 50-year-olds. So, I've got friends that we go, gaming with. We've got friends at the gym. I've got friends in a small group. I've got friends from the kids' school. I've got friends that I grew up with that went to Georgia Tech or just a home, back in Lilburn or whatever. But the common theme about all of my friends is we're about 50 years old. And we talk about those things that are happening around 50. And one of those things that many of the guys are getting back is, hey, I did my blood work. At 50, you're supposed to go in and do get the colonoscopy and all these other things. And so blood work and such. And they're like, the comment keeps coming up, man, my blood is bad. I'm either like pre-diabetic or I'm into type 2 diabetes or whatever. And so the question comes up, hey, what do I do? And so this is kind of what I do. So I offer some suggestions. And here's the thing, spoiler alert, it is not hard or complex. It's just not easy. So typically, if you ask a few questions, hey, so what did you do in the last 20 years, exercise-wise? Well, really nothing. I've been working and doing my family. Okay, great. What have you been doing in the last 20 years food-wise? They're like, well, nothing. I've been eating like an idiot and just whatever I want. And like, okay, so you got exactly what you aimed at, which is bad health. And here we are. Now, it's not hard to fix it. It's just not easy. So I'm going to walk through some of the things that you can do to push yourself back out of diabetes. Now, of course, yes, it is true. I am not a doctor. I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn Express. These are my anecdotal things that have happened over the last 16 years that I've run this CrossFit business and worked on my own health and fitness. So will it work for you? I mean, if you go Google it or you ask ChatGPT, they're going to give you the exact same answers. As a matter of fact, I did. I'm like, let me type all my stuff up, type my outline, and then went into ChatGPT and say, hey, let me ask some questions and see what it comes up with. And it pretty much said the same dang thing. So spoiler alert, don't eat sweet stuff. Try to get away from refined carbohydrates, exercise, and there's a few other things, but that's pretty much it. Do that for the next 20 years and you'll be good. So small steps over time. One of my buddies from the small group said, hey, make sure when you talk to people about this, that you talk about the small steps. And that's right. And I do this all the time where I talk about those small steps. Things like 75 hard, I don't like that because it's too many things. It's like 13 or 15 things that you do hard for 75 days. It's just setting yourself up for failure. The best way to succeed is to stack your successes on top of each other. This is why Dave Ramsey's debt snowball works over the debt avalanche. And so you have to go look those up. But I'm going to go through some of the things that you can do and what I have done to help adjust your future outlook. And again, it is not hard. It's just not easy. It is easy if you're, let me back that up. One of the guys asked me, what's the easiest way to, and in this case, he was saying track macros, but it's to get out of this pre-diabetic phase. And here's the unfortunate answer. Everything I'm going to tell you is super easy. It just depends on how sticky your why is to if you will do the things that are pretty easy. So, for example, here is the easy rule. Stop eating anything that's sweet. Yeah, it's easy. It's that easy. Literally stop eating or drinking anything that's sweet. Yeah, that's kind of hard to do, right? But the rule is easy. If you eliminated anything sweet from your diet, you would no longer be doing the sugary stuff or anything that might spike, any of the other sweeteners. And therefore, you are changing your tongue's taste and your desire. So the other day, or I guess we just passed Thanksgiving, and we had a bunch of desserts out. And I have not eaten sugar for, I don't know, it's like 11-ish years at this point. What are we in, 2023? So go back 11 years, whatever that is, right? It's been about 11 years. I accidentally also don't eat grains or, this would fit like complex carbohydrate or refined carbohydrates. I just don't eat that because I was trying to get off of sugar, and that was just the way that I needed to do it. Was I needed that extra step to deactivate my sweet tooth or whatever. So I'm experimenting now. Olivia made some what were they? Like bread drops. It's not a bread drop. It was like a biscuit for the morning, but there was no sweetener. Like typically when you make these biscuits or anything, you're going to put some sort of honeys or sugars in there. And she didn't. And she told me that. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And so everyone in my family's jaw dropped as I took half this little non-sweet muffin, slathered it with a massive amount of butter and ate it. And it was probably the size of, let's see, what would be it was the size of maybe your thumb. So it wasn't like a big piece or maybe two thumbs put together, but it's been like 11 years since I've intentionally eaten anything grain-wise. And it didn't kick my sweet tooth in, but it did give me a stomach ache for the rest of the day because I guess I'm not used to processing that. But anyway, the stuff I'm going to tell you is not hard to do. Sorry, it is not hard, but it is not easy to do. And it just depends. If the doctor says, hey, you're going to die, then the stickiness of your why is massive. If the doctor says, hey, you're pre-diabetic, you should maybe watch out, then as my other buddy laughed about it, he's like, it's just sort of a suggestion. You don't really need to do it. I mean, then you're not going to do any of this. So it really just comes down to what do you want to do? And my thing is build tiny habits that stack on each other day after day, week after week, month after month, that get you to the goal that you're at. You ate like an idiot. And you didn't exercise for the last 20 years. So I don't know, give yourself 2 years to, change the ship. So with that being said, let me say this. I did my fasting blood glucose because I am turning 50 this year. I was born in 1973, and this is a year that you do all those things. I haven't seen a doctor in probably, 8 years for that sort of stuff. Or actually I did get blood drawn because maybe like 4 years ago, because I did compare the testosterone numbers. Weirdly, my testosterone numbers have doubled. The only thing I've really done different is I've added caffeine into my life thanks to the year of 2020. So maybe caffeine does the trick. I don't know. But I went from like 450 units to 900 units. So I haven't been eating this stuff for quite a while, and I've been adjusting my diet. And I did go to the doctor, and he did do my fasting blood work. And it was high. He's like, hey, according to these numbers, you are actually also pre-diabetic. I'm like, hey, so what would you tell me to do without taking any drugs? What would you tell me to do to edit what my blood would look like? He's like, well, don't eat anything sweet or sugary and get off of refined carbohydrates. I'm like, and you know that I don't eat anything sweet or anything grain related. He's like, that's a good point. I said, so what do you think it means? Like, let's do with the other test and we'll just, narrow it down. So they did the other test, and of course it came out, yeah, it's fine. So there is false flags when people eat this way. And if you Google it real quick, you can see like what does your blood work look like when you eat keto or high fat or high meat or protein or basically no sugar. And that will come out. So yeah, so just go into these things with a grain of salt. Like, yes, the doctors have great ideas and they have lots of history behind them and they know what to do. So listen to them, but if you're in a case like me, maybe you don't fit the mold, so the tests don't exactly work. Okay, so let's move on. What do I do? What can you do? What are some easy steps? I think the biggest thing is realize if it's been 20 years since you really did anything, you got to give yourself time. If you're going to try to change this stuff immediately and do some like hardcore cold, cutoffs, like I am not going to smoke actually that's a good one. Don't smoke, but go cold turkey, which I don't even know what that means. I thought cold turkey was a drink, but anyway, if you stop, with an emergency brake and get off that track, hey, good for you, but that's kind of hard. So go slowly. So when people ask me what would be the first thing that you would do, I would say, well, stop consuming sweet things. They're like, okay, that's really tough. Anything sweet. I go for anything sweet. So I don't do honey. I don't do stevia. I don't do sweet and low, saccharin, whatever. I don't do any of that stuff because if your tongue gets unused to sweet, then like me at Thanksgiving, when they're like, Andy, you didn't eat any of this stuff. Doesn't it tempt you? I'm like, no, actually it doesn't. I'm not tempted by any of it. The smell of all that sweet is actually kind of disgusting. And sometimes like if you go to one of those places like, I don't know, maybe like the carnival where they're making cotton candy or somewhere where, maybe a fudge factory or whatever. And you like, or like Krispy Kreme when they're pouring the sugar over the hot donuts, it's like so much that you're like grossed out. Maybe you guys don't get that way, but I do. And, I have that kind of feeling when I look at desserts. I look at desserts as not food, just like I look at McDonald's. McDonald's is not food, it's entertainment. Sure, you can go entertain yourself every once in a while, but it's not food. You did not put anything in your body that your body is actually going to care for. I feel this way about anything that has a drive-through, except Euro Village, which is down near Movie Tavern. They do actually have a drive-through, but I think their food is probably, or the stuff they serve is actually food. Anyway, so to narrow that down a little bit further, what would be the first easy step? It's stop drinking sweet. So whatever you do, like I talked to one of the guys, I'm like, yeah, don't drink sweet. And he's like, yeah, I gave up sodas and all that. I don't drink anything sweet. I'm like, how about your coffee? And he's like, damn it. Yeah, I put all sorts of stuff in my coffee. So I am drinking coffee right now while I do this podcast because my brother says, Andy, you clear your throat too much. So I'm going to drink something hot so that I don't clear my throat so much. Also use the magic of technology to hit pause and clear my throat without you knowing it, like I just did right there. So first thing is stop drinking sweet. Okay, so let me back the story up here. So when I was at Georgia Tech, we would make what we called nuclear tea, and we would get the little squirty device on the Hobart, the dishwashing tool, and we would take our Igloo cooler and we would squirt like this near boiling hot water into the Hobart. I'm sure we shouldn't have done that. It was probably not clean water, but it's supposed to be just water, not chemical. Then we would take sugar and pour it in and stir until it was super saturated because we had hot water, and you would see the sugar finally start to fall to the bottom. Then we'd add some more just in case. Then we take the tea bags and throw them in there and then let it kind of like brew. But the first thing was put as much sugar as you possibly could into this water and then put the tea bags into it. And that was our nuclear tea. If you got it super hot, you could put more sugar into it. Super saturation. I quit drinking that. I didn't drink any soda anyway. And then I quit drinking that. And I dropped 10 pounds in about a week. So I was carrying that much sugar on me. Let me also say this. The way I've been eating for the last 11-ish years, I've also been 165 pounds for the last 11 years. So when I cut out sugar and then grains, I went from 175 down to 165. And I've weighed that for a long time. And when you put into Chat GPT, hey, what are things you should do to give you like either to fight the top 10 ways to die, or to get over diabetes or pre-diabetic or type 2 or whatever, they're going to tell you maintain a healthy weight. Not just have a healthy weight, but maintain it. And man, I've been 165 for 11 years. So and if you watched me eat, you'd be like, dang, boy, you eat a lot of stuff, meats and vegetables. And so the other day, I wanted to up my protein count in my morning smoothie. So I thought I would try putting some ground beef into the smoothie. And it was gross. I know you're all thinking, hey, that's stupid. That's gross. Yes, but I'm willing to try it. So because I food journaled, I realized, hey, this smoothie has not as much protein as a percent as I want. So I reduced the almond milk I put in it, put water in it. And I thought, well, let me try some other things. I don't really want to put another egg in there because my chickens aren't laying great. Now they are, so maybe I will. But I threw some ground beef in there and blended it up, and it was rough to drink. I did drink it. I'm a utility player when it comes to food. I'll eat whatever. It doesn't have to be sexy. I'll eat it. I'm pretty, like this coffee I'm drinking right now is Verity's leftover coffee that I ground up and I threw butter in it and mixed it all together with the Vitamix, and it's beautiful and awesome. I'm going to drink it right now while I hit pause. But that'd be the first thing, is stop drinking sweet. Examine what you actually, I'm going to tell you to log your food. So log it either hand, but better would be putting it into one of these apps because it's going to break it apart for you. I'll get into that in a minute. The next would be stop eating sweet. And this is a tough one. So this is why I kind of got off of grain. We would go to Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel. And I would get pancakes. And of course, if you're going to get pancakes, I'm like, damn it, just a little bit of syrup. I'll just put a little bit of syrup. So now I'm back to eating sugar. So I had to get rid of that next thing. So it's kind of like my guardrail. And I am a huge fan of the Breadbeckers. We make our own bread. I make pancakes from their recipes with freshly ground wheat. So I'm a huge fan of it. I just know that if I go to the party, I'm going to smoke and drink, right? So if I eat bread, I'm going to want something sweet. So I just eliminated that. Yeah, let's see. It is easy. Hey, just don't eat grains. But it is tough, right? Okay, so the next one would be to start eliminating the refined carbohydrates. What this would mean is anything that's like bleached. So a good rule of thumb somebody had is if it's white, don't eat it. It's not a great one because I guess milk and almond milk and whatever is white, and the egg side, whatever, is white. And so I guess when you cook it, it's white. But it's supposed to be for like bread or rice or pasta. So those refined carbohydrates. they're not good for you. It would be better for you to make your own if you want to do that, which if you haven't tried it, go to Bread Breakers. They're in just north of downtown Woodstock, and you can get all set up to make your own stuff. It is awesome. And if you want to, ask me, text me, email me, say, Andy, make me a loaf of bread. I will try my best to make you a loaf of bread, and then you can eat it. It's best if you eat it like steaming hot. It's just awesome. Or actually better yet, what I'll do is have Levi make you a batch of his cookies, which I guess defeats the point of sweet, but this would be for you to figure out what the bread's like. I guess maybe, what do you call them? A tortilla. That would probably work. But anyway, those would be the first three things is 1, stop drinking sweet. 2, stop eating sweet. 3, stop eating refined carbohydrates. That's actually what I do. So people say, Andy, oh, you eat keto. No, I don't necessarily eat keto. I don't do that on purpose. I just don't eat those things. And I'm not a huge fan of living your life in that negative frame of reference. I don't eat these things, but for this particular ones, I do. Okay. So the next thing I would do, I scoffed at it, and you might have heard the podcast a couple weeks ago, but it was food journaling or tracking your food. So on the forced rank things of life, my family is pretty high up there, and doing things with and for and engaging with my family is pretty high up there. So Levi said, Dad, track your food with me. I'm like, oh man, for you, I will, but for myself, I won't. So I did. And I thought, arrogantly, there's nothing for me to learn. And I learned once again that I've been humbled and I can learn something. So track your food, even if it's just for 2 weeks. I would say the best way to do it is get an app like MyFitnessPal, or the one we use is Trainerize. We can load it up for you if you want. Or the one that Levi had me use. Let me pull it up real quick in my phone. It is called My Net Diary. It's still free for the basic parts, but I would encourage you to pay for it for a month, pay for whatever service you get, because what you're going to do is there's usually a paywall to get to the cooler things like the actual breakdown in your sugars, like how much sugar, refined sugar, and all that stuff was inside the stuff you eat. Now, things like an almond is going to have sugar. That's totally fine. Watermelon is going to have more sugar, fructose, so maybe not as fine. I don't eat watermelon. I'm not against it. It is just now too sweet for me, so I don't. It's also a great way to not spike your insulin response, right? If you don't eat anything sweet. So, okay, track your food, journal it. 2 weeks is great. 4 weeks is greater. So if you can, do it for a whole month. And then I would have somebody else look at it. I am happy to look at anybody's, especially if you can send it to me. That's great. If we can do it in person at the gym, that's greater, better. Best would be to hire Coach Laura and say, hey, work with me for a month. That would be the best way to go. Shortcut the process by hiring a professional or any coach. It doesn't really matter. Go online and Google diabetes nutrition person, right? The thing I don't like is man, I hate to say it like this. Some of y'all are going to hate me big time on this, but I am against using food as a medication. So, I'm going to prescribe you more pears. I don't know. Everybody's different, and food has a taste to it, and there's textures, and there's all these other things. So I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, so when you're tracking your food, a beautiful aspect of this, which I hate, but is beautiful, is if you scan a barcode with your phone and you have the device thingy or the app on your phone, then it'll look at it and go, oh, I know what that is, usually. And then you can click on it. Now, here's the thing. When they put the labels out, they only have to be so accurate. It's like supplements. There was a study by a rigorous company, I can't think of the name of it, but they found that 40% of the supplements they studied didn't even have what they said they were supposed to have. So it's kind of like taking a vitamin D pill, and then they opened it up and did the cutting and sourced it and burnt it and did whatever they're supposed to do. And they're like, you know what? This doesn't even have any vitamin D at all in it. So 40% of the things they tested didn't even have one iota of the thing they said they were supposed to have. So I am not a huge fan of supplements. But in the same aspect, when they put labels on food, it's good. It's not completely 100% accurate. It's just good. They don't have to be. There's tolerances, right? And there's also just measurement tolerances. Okay. So when you log your food, you don't have to be 100% accurate. I don't think that's what you're going for. You're trying to solve a different problem. If you're like, well, I got to be 100% accurate because I'm weighing and measuring and tracking all my food. No. In this case, we're solving for diabetes, which is basically sugar and refined carbs, right? So we're watching for that. It just needs to be totality. So if you messed up, like, oh, I had 2 hamburger patties, but you wrote in 3, then it's not really a big deal because it's a hamburger patty. Hamburger patties most likely are not going to have sugar in them unless you go to, it's weird. If you go to like a higher priced restaurant, they typically put weird stuff in it. And so you end up getting things that you didn't want anyway. But you don't have to go for accuracy. Go for completion, right? So don't let perfect be the enemy of done. Log your food. Let somebody else look at it. Hire a coach to get you through there. I would say it's even worthwhile just having like with Coach Laura, you could say, I've tracked my food for a month. I would like to hire you for 1 hour to go over this. And just hire her for an hour. Get her insight. Have an expert go through it with you. I'm happy to do it for you as well. I am not an expert and I don't have great bedside manners. So when you write in there, when you tell me I don't really eat sugar, and then you write in there, I had 6 smoothies from Publix in their like Bolt House or Farmhouse or whatever it is. I'm like, dude, don't be a dumbass. That's sugar right there. Look at the label. Okay, so yes, my bedside manner is a little bit off. I am working hard at being a better human. All right, so packaging is always correct, but don't let the enemy, or don't let perfect be the enemy of done. Understand what you're eating. Pay for the app because that's going to help you. And I guess the other thing to realize is they hide the name of sugar. So go and look up all the names that sugar can go by or sweeteners can go by. I am a fan of getting off all sweetener because and I know it's not a widely held view, but it's going to I know this from practical experience. It changes the way your tongue tastes things if you just get off of sweet. If you hide the sweet by, like, many people I know use stevia, and they're like, oh, it's not sugar. I'm like, yeah, but you're still getting the same cravings, and I think it's still doing the same sort of stuff. So I just say, if you're going to do it, why not do it all the way and get rid of it all? But small steps, right? So if that's what you need to do, sure. One way you could eat less is start smoking. I don't know if those are great habits to exchange, but you can do other things like that. For me, I'm just like, if you're going to do away with sweet, just get rid of it. But it comes down to how sticky. So if you think to yourself, well, I don't really want to get rid of all sweets, then fine, die. You're going to die of diabetes. And that's what the doctor is trying to tell you. Hey, I'm trying to be nice. You're pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetes. You could fix it, but you don't want to. So yeah, you're probably going to die from it. Everybody is going to die. It's not a surprise. Everybody, even in the Bible, almost 2 people didn't die. 3 people, well, I don't know, something. Everybody is going to die. What are you going to die from? As a buddy of mine says, he says, I want to die at the age of 99 at the hands of an angry husband. I'm like, well, I don't know if but I get the point. He's just sensationalizing the story. Like, I want to be healthy and fit enough to coach my kids' in soccer. I'm sensationalizing the story of what I want. And what is that? I want to be able, I want to be moving, I want to be hot and sexy, whatever. I want to be able to do the things I want to do. Obviously, I will not be doing the running away from an angry husband, but I still think it's funny. So you need to come up with the why, and is it powerful enough? I mean, my tongue. So I heard something in a book. I listen to a lot of books, and this one is actually a fantasy book. It's really cool, but they had a great saying, and I love it. It is, and I'm going to blow it, but it's something like pain may push my body, but I am more than my body. The pain doesn't own me. I own my body. And that's the kind of philosophy I take on it. I am the master of my body, not my pain, not my desires. My tongue controls a lot, and I'm saying no. I want to control it. What is your I? I don't know. Is it your soul? Is it your brain? Is it your heart? I don't know. But I do know this. Your habits and desires can be controlled by substances, and sugar is a substance that controls us. So I just say no to it. Say no to sugar. I guess nobody has that slogan. Okay, so track that. Are you supposed to be tracking your macros? So one of the guys asked, hey, what's an easy way to track your macros? Yeah, you use the apps, but you're not really needing to track your macros. What you're needing to track is how much sugar am I eating and how much refined carbohydrates am I eating. And so you're going to have to pay for that on the service to get it. Just do it. If the doctor told you, hey, you're probably going to die from this, man, what is $5? It's like $5.15, something like that. It's not that much money to have an app that'll show you. Pay the damn money to save your life, whatever. Track it. Okay. Next, he said, one of the great questions was, hey, well, what is your take on supplements and protein shakes? I've already kind of like spoiler on that supplements. Most supplements do not even have, or 40% of the supplements don't even have in them an ounce, an iota of what they say they have in them. So what does that mean for the rest of them? Probably not great. Supplements will move the needle about 1%. Eating food will move the needle like 50%. So stop eating entertainment and eat real food. Well, let me just go to protein shakes. If you cannot eat protein, then sure, do a shake. But what are we trying to solve here? Are we solving your protein issue? Or are we solving a sugar issue? We're solving sugar. This is a diabetes podcast episode, right? So I would say no to the protein shake because it's going to be loaded with sugar. So just don't do it. One of the comments back was, well, I just don't have time to do something smart in the morning for food. Well, yes, you do, the night before. Boil some eggs, take out an egg and eat it. And you're like, well, I don't really like hard-boiled eggs. Well, too damn bad. Eat the egg anyway. There are a lot of ways, and the things you should be doing is to express yourself in the food choices you get. So I have a hard-boiled egg. If I eat if I eat just a plain hard-boiled egg, which I do eat during these long adventure races I do, then it's not great. But if you do like some Italian spices in there, like, I don't know, just pour Italian seasoning on it, all of a sudden it's a tasty egg. Or even better, some salt and pepper with some olive oil, rub it in there and then eat it. Man, it tastes a lot different. Put some avocado on the egg, right? Or some guacamole on the egg. Just make sure it doesn't have sugar in it, right? If it's already prepackaged. So there are things you can do. It's just, are you willing to do it? Or in many cases, it's just, well, I haven't really thought of that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I do have the night before. I could make something. You could make your own smoothie. So I've had the same smoothie for like 15 years or something. And I do adjust it here and there. Like I said, put some water in it, put some ground beef in it. I don't do that anymore. But on days that I know that I'm going to have an early get out of jail quick time, I make it the night before and put it in the refrigerator in a shake cup. Sometimes you can't see the forest because of the trees of your life. You can't see the simple solution because it's you. When my buddy asked that and I replied, I bet you he thought to himself, well, dang, that's probably true. I could just do that. Why didn't I think of it? It's kind of like the goal reviews I do. So I put our members in our gym, we put them the goals on a Google Doc, then we'll go through them. And many times they're like, oh yeah, duh. That what you said right there totally makes sense. I'm like, yeah, because it just makes sense. It's common sense. You would have come up with this had you taken the time or looked at it from a third person perspective, but because it's your life, it's just hard to see. So protein shakes, I would say no, I don't do them. If you're looking to get more protein in your life, that's totally different. For my son, who's 17, he's like, Dad, I want to bulk up and be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you need to eat all the protein you can eat. He's eating something like 4,000 calories a day, which no 50-year-old man should be doing, and eating like an idiot because he can. Of course, he eats a lot of sugar. Therefore, there are repercussions, right? As a teenager, when you eat a lot of sugar and oils, it's going to come out on your face, and that's just what happens. So there is a time you grow out of it, but he is sacrificing some of that so that he can get swole. I'm like, yeah, dude, what problem are you solving for? He's not solving for girlfriend. He could care less at the moment. He would like to go into college being a larger kid. And with my genetics, he's got an uphill, he's like that salmon swimming up there and the bear is just watching him ready to smack him down because my genetics are small. I guess, actually, my dad and Verity's dad are large guys, so I suppose it's in there. Maybe it was the 4 years of wrestling that, or my gymnastics that stunted my growth. No, I didn't do gymnastics. That's just an old joke for me. Like, people say gymnastics makes kids small. When you say that, they're like, oh yeah, sure, everyone agrees. And then when you say, okay, well then basketball makes people tall, they're like, no, that's not true. I'm like, well, then I don't think the other one is true. So basically, it's not. They've proven it. It's just self-selects, and it selects earlier. So basketball selects for tall, and gymnastics selects for short. It doesn't make you small. It just, go look it up, do the studies, you'll see. Anyway, okay, so supplements and shakes. For this, no, we're not solving that. We want to solve something different. Breakfast rushed. Come up with something. You can even, this is a great idea. I should do it, but I don't have a problem yet, is you could take like a muffin tray and then make your own like egg quiche things that are just like the size of a muffin. And it could just simply be egg, cheese, spinach, mushroom, and you bake it, then you pull it out. Now you have your Starbucks egg bites, and there you go. What about the yolk, Andy? Isn't that deadly? No, you're solving for sugar. It's not the yolk. The problem with your life isn't the little yellow yolk, which has all the good stuff in it. The problem with your life and eating is that you eat stupid shit all the time. Stop eating it. So yeah, people get caught up on solving the wrong thing. Solve the thing that you need to solve. In this case, it's diabetes. It's the sugars, the refined carbohydrates. Solve for that. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, for me, I avoid all sweet. But wait, don't you eat fruit? No, I don't. I just said I avoid all sweet. No, I take that back. I do put about a thumb size amount of banana in my smoothie every morning. So yes, I guess I do eat sweet. I do eat some fruit. I have nothing against fruit, but most of the time it's just too dang sweet. I don't eat apples because they're too sweet. Many things that people would say are bitter to me are sweet because I just don't eat them. So I just can't anymore, which I think is great. I'd rather my tongue be different. And I'm going to tell you some food groups and things you can do. Like, well, what else could I eat, Andy? Shouldn't I? I mean, if there's no sugar and there's no bread, what's left? I'm not saying don't eat bread. I'm saying make your own bread. That's better for you. It's not a refined carbohydrate then, but everything is left. The problem is you guys, me, whatever, when I started this, we short-circuited ourselves by not allowing us to see all the options out there. An easy one, so Levi and Evie said, Dad, there's nothing to eat in this house. I'm like, great, get into the car, you little turds. I'm going to show you what we have to eat. So this isn't the first time we had this conversation, right? So I finally came up with a solution because it wasn't his family. One of my friends said, we'll just take him to the grocery store and let him shop. I'm like, man, what a great idea. So I stole that. We got in the car and went to the grocery store. I said, here is a cart. Walk up and down the aisles and pick out stuff that you might eat. And let's see if they're any good. And they're like, wow, I didn't realize all this food was here. I'm like, yes, it's all on layaway waiting here for you. It's waiting to get in your cart to get into your house. You just actually have to come here and shop. So they buy their own food now. It's great. And they know there's other foods out there. So that's the same thing for you. There are other options. So here's an easy one. Go to Whole Foods or something like that, Harry's or whatever, Franklin's or those big fresh markets, right? Go to their pre-made, like the stuff is out there, like the salad bar buffet type area where you can fill up a tray. And just walk up and down the aisle right there and say, I don't know, that looks neat. Let me put it in there. That looks neat. Put it in there. Get 2 of them. Eat one today and one tomorrow, right? Or 3. I don't know. Try different stuff. You will find there are massive things. Even if you don't want to eat it, try it. Hey, there's a whole olive bar. Great. Pick some of them. I don't like olives. So what? Go try them anyway. Quit being a child and eating chicken fingers and ketchup all the time. Try to eat other stuff. Once you've done that, you can then also walk up and down the aisles and be like, hey, there is almond butter. What the hell is almond butter? I didn't know they made butter out of almonds. I think I'll give it a shot, right? There's, I'm about to say Nutella. That's just sugar and chocolate with stuff, right? But there's other types of peanut butters. I have tried probably 30 different types of peanut butters to find the peanut butter that I could just dip a spoon into and put it in my mouth and be like, yes, that gives me what I want. For me, it is the Publix Green Wise Creamy, the organic brand, right? So it's that one. And I eat probably a jar of that every 3 or 4 days. Yes. You're thinking to yourself, how is that possible? I eat a lot of peanut butter. I also like the Kerrygold butter. I eat probably, they come in like a double stick. So I will eat one of those in probably the same amount of time, maybe like 4 days. I'll go through an entire double stick of that butter. And yes, I weigh 165 pounds and I'm 5'8"-ish. And it's been the same and I'm not fat and I eat a lot of fat and protein. Fat does not make you fat. Okay. Go up and down the aisles, explore, try, pick different things, go down the frozen aisle. Frozen aisle is great because it means it does not have a lot of the stabilizers or non-foodie stuff in it. It's frozen to keep it from spoiling, so that's good. Frozen stuff is great. I love frozen foods. You can go up and down the frozen food aisle and find cool breakfast things too. Now, I would avoid things like the breakfast tortilla because it's made with a tortilla that is then refined carbs, and you're trying to get away from that. But you can probably find eggs with cheese in it already and just throw it into the microwave. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the microwave either, but there's air fryers and other things you can do. It's just a timing thing, right? So if you're like, hey, I'd like to heat up my food in a non-microwave environment, but I only have 20 minutes to make it out the door, fine. Wake up, walk over to the air fryer, throw your junk in there, turn it on, go back to do the other stuff, and then as you leave, it's ready. Weird, right? So it's just stacking the habits. And so I mentioned that earlier. Find habits that you can stack that work for you. So small steps. I love my coffee in the morning. Great. Drink it. Just don't put stupid stuff in it. Stack the habit. Just do that one. Drink a bottle of water before you work out or after you work out rather than a smoothie or a protein shake. Eat a hamburger patty that you grilled on your own, right? It's really not that hard to buy. I mean, you could buy Bubba burgers, throw them on your grill frozen, do the cookie thing, and then you've got, if you bought the big one, then you've got, 12 hamburger patties? And so that's 12 lunches right there, if you want to do it that way. That's kind of what I do. So let me back up. I'm going to move forward. Let me tell you the things that I do for dinner. So Levi says this is not cooking, but it totally is cooking. I go with it's got 5 ingredients or less. That way I'll actually make it. And I'm going to tell you that in a second. I'm going to hit pause, drink a whole bunch of coffee, and clear my throat. There, Charles. See, I didn't clear my throat on the microphone. Okay. So we have an Instapot. I love that thing. I went downstairs, got some frozen meat. It's stew meat. And oops, I just cleared my throat, Charlie. You're going to have to come get me. So I took that stew meat, I put it in the pot, I turned it on and said, thaw, warm up, whatever. And it did its thing. Then I went out for the rest of the day, and that was early in the morning. So it's just got a low temperature, keeping it going. Then I came back from, it was Wednesday. So Evie was doing CrossFit. I was on my conference call. I'd already done CrossFit for the day. We got back home. I said, I took like 3 sweet potatoes, peeled them, chop, 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 threw them in, took an onion, chop, 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 threw it in, took some garlic, chop, 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 threw it in, took some, we had Brussels sprouts that we didn't cook over Thanksgiving. So I ripped it open and dumped the whole thing of Brussels sprouts in there. Probably too many Brussels sprouts, but whatever. And then I threw in, I had a bag of small carrots. So I was like, yeah, let's dump those in there. So that's what I made. It had meat, a bunch of vegetables, and I used chicken broth. I poured chicken broth in there to keep it kind of, moist or whatever. And then, of course, being me, I overcooked it, so all the vegetables are super mushy, but whatever. So that's an easy meal. You're like, well, I don't know if that's cooking. Yes, it's cooking, and it's great food. I don't put a lot of seasoning in it, and my kids are like, you should season this more. I'm like, you know where the seasoning is. It's right there in the cabinet. Why don't you just go get it and pour the seasoning on to your heart's content, which is sort of disconcerting when they load it up with garlic salt. But then again, I didn't put anything in it, so I'm sure it has less sodium in it than anything they will ever eat when they go out and buy it. But that can be something that you could do for a simple meal. So the other thing that I do, which again, Levi says, Dad, that's not cooking. And so he doesn't say it anymore because that forces him to cook, is I will pre-brown a bunch of ground beef. And my wife taught me to do this. So you pre-brown it. I do it's usually about 2 pounds of ground beef that I'll brown. And then I'll put it into a quart size freezer bag. I'll write the date on it, throw it in the freezer. So now I have, 5 2-pound bags of ground beef in the freezer. So it's already cooked. So when it's time to use it, I just take it out and it thaws. Just remember to do it ahead of time, leave it in the sink, it'll thaw. And then I drop it into the pan, and let's say I'm doing spaghetti. And then I'll throw the spaghetti sauce on top, turn the heat on, and it does its thing, and it's super fast, right? I make it super fast and easy. I also keep a lot of frozen broccoli on hand because that is an easy one. Warm up some water, boom, you got unfrozen broccoli that you can eat right then. So I use, I got spaghetti, I got tacos, I have the au jus sauce that I do for like a cottage pie, and there's something else I can't remember. But it's seasoning that I use for the same exact ingredients, basically, to make it taste different. And yeah, it's not super creative, but I'm utilitarian when it comes to eat. My kids and my family are eating something pretty good, and they know if they complain, they have to cook, so they love it. So there's that. The other thing that I do as sort of a hack or a cheat is keep snacky things around me that I know I will go to when I need it. So first, don't snack. If you need to snack, then either you're hungry, which eat more when you're going to eat, or you're bored or something. understand first what is happening. Why are you choosing to eat? It's probably actually not because you're hungry. But if you do need to eat something or you're missing a meal like I have done because I'm doing something, I'm out and about and misjudged my time, I carry some the Organic Archer's individual beef jerky sticks, and I will eat that. I've got maybe 10 of them in my car or around me that I can just grab one and go. I also carry the Justin's peanut butter and almond butter, no extras. It's literally just that. And I've got those on me and I eat that. I will also take other things like a cup of guacamole or a cup of olives or something similar and just bring it with me and be like, that's going to be my snack or my extra. It doesn't have to be sexy or fancy. It could just be a pickle. Pickles are great. They have a weird taste to them, and it sort of punches all the sweet stuff in the face. You're like, a pickle, that's not really what I wanted, but I guess it did the trick. And the calorie count on it is really low, but it's mostly got, I guess if you do a sweet pickle, that's not it. You want a dill pickle, and it's basically just vinegar and dill, and then the cucumber. So yay, you're done. It doesn't have to be hard, but you need to get yourself into the grocery store and walk the aisles and just take a pick, right? Okay, so I did ask ChatGPT, hey, this is my outline. What am I missing? And it said, nothing. You are intelligent and sexy and hot, and you've got it all. I'm like, well, thank you, ChatGPT. You didn't have to say that, but I appreciate it. So it said, yes, avoid sweet things and also refined carbohydrates and processed food. So processed food, the longer it'll last out in the open, the more processed it has been. Therefore, when you look at a McDonald's hamburger or Wendy's or whatever, and even the roaches won't eat it to get it to last for weeks and months and years, it's been highly processed and you should not eat it. It's not food, it's entertainment. So he throws out, I just made ChatGPT a guy. You know what? It is a guy because it's always solving your problems. You're always asking it advice and it's always solving your problems. So it's a dude. Actually, it listens really well. It's a woman. I don't know. Anyway, maintain a healthy weight. Like I already talked about that. For me, 165 pounds, been doing that all the time. Oh, I like this. It even threw the answer in there. It said, consistent exercise routine like CrossFit. Awesome. I guess it knows. That's right. It does learn. So it probably knows I have a CrossFit gym. Anyway, so maintain a healthy weight. If you don't know what your healthy weight is, you could probably just Google it and say, hey, I'm this tall and I'm a human or a woman or a male or whatever. What should my weight be? And it'll give you an idea. Is that healthy for you? I don't know. Everybody's a little bit different and muscles way more. So, right? Better is to hire somebody and ask them. But anyway, so balanced diet. So yeah, right there, right? Regular exercise. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I mean, seriously, many times when you think you're hungry, you're just thirsty. So all you guys out there, you're like, well, I need to drink or I need to eat the candy bar. No, try drinking something and not drinking soda. Drink water. Now, this one I sort of disagree with, but if you're in that, it's kind of a sketchy area, so monitor your blood sugar levels, and you can get like a continuous glucose monitor, but I have an issue with people relying on those data points when we're still just trying to build the model of the data. So I'm not entirely in love with that stuff. As an engineer, I think it's super awesome, and I would just nail a glucose monitor on everybody and be like, you have to do it. So says the king. Let's do it. And I guess I would be the king in that case. But I know that that's wrong and you should not force people to do things that you want. Anyway, so I do love the idea of all that stuff, whoops and all that, but I just don't know if all the data it gives you is great. I would instead, get your blood drawn, do the thing, and then give yourself 3 months and then go back and get your blood drawn again, right? So spend some money on it. It's a problem. Spend your money on it. Unless you want to die early, whatever, right? Spend your time and your money on the things that matter, your family. And if you love your family, then I guess your health because you want to be around. This is why it's fitness, food, and finances. Because if you have good fitness and you're eating healthy, then you're going to live a long dang time. And if you're going to live a long dang time, you better have the money to go with it. Otherwise, the other way. If you have good money, if we're going to talk about finances and you're like, yes, I've got my money, then you better have good health because you don't want to be like a 64-year-old that's decrepit with millions of dollars. Then it's just everybody waiting for you to die. I had a good talk with my buddy's son who graduated, got a great job doing some computer science stuff. He's like, I've got extra cash. I think I'd like to try this rental business, but all the books kind of give this one type of advice, and I'm thinking this other thing. What did you do? I'm like, yeah, so the difference between me and you and all these other people who do real estate is they don't have an income. This is their income. So they're taking huge risks. You don't have, anyway, sorry. total subsection, but it's just fascinating to see the young people say, hey, could you give me some advice? All the old people out there that we know, we should be asking them their advice. Okay, anyway, regular exercise, stay hydrated, monitor your blood sugar levels, stress. What is it that lets you get out of stress, right? Adequate sleep. Oh man, I have 2 podcasts, one on stress, one on adequate sleep. Go listen to those. And it says regular checkups. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like I said, I'm not a very big fan of the doctor. I love doctors. They're nice people. I just don't always like the fact that there's a pill to solve everything. Can I try something else? Many times they're like, well, I guess, but you probably won't do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm the type of person that does do it. All right, so then I asked ChatGPT, hey, of my food list, what would you say I should avoid? Food list, what should you avoid? And it's no surprise, that's the stuff I already said. So number 1, I asked it, put them in order. Sodas and sugary drinks. So if you don't know what those are, I mean, soda, Coca-Cola is a soda. Tea with like sugar in it. Energy drinks, fruit drinks. I know, you're like, well, it's just fruit. It is not. Read the dang label. Let's see, candies and sweets. I already told you I avoid all that stuff. So anything that starts with a wrapper, it's probably not good for you. So candies, chocolates, pastries, ice creams, desserts. Desserts are spelt with 2 S's because you want more of them. Don't eat any of them. Processed breakfast cereals. Now, I would eat breakfast cereal over McDonald's or whatever, fast food. But it's anything in a box is going to be pretty much processed, right? And they're going to pour sugar on it. They want you to come back. There are food science people, chemistry majors, food dietitians or whatever. They sit them in, like, I don't know if you've ever been to a Kellogg's factory. When you drive up, you're like, wow, this has a smell to it and so it's fascinating. If you've never been to like an actual factory, you don't drive, man, where is that one I drove by? We did a power study on it back when I was at MEAG Power, looking for energy leak and stuff. But anyway, you'll get disgusted if you're around that smell for too long. Just stay away from all that sort of stuff if you can. I know it's tough. You're like, what would I eat? Yes, you're going to eat a lot of meat. Go crazy, get a chicken and let it lay your own eggs and eat your own eggs. That's what happened to me. I was like, how can I eat even better? Well, I guess, dang it, I'm going to buy a chicken and let it poop out eggs and I'm going to eat them. So you may find yourself down a weird alley. That's okay. And this is one of the reasons I love CrossFit Garage, the gym that we have created over time. Historically, yeah, I liked where we were, but I hate to think back and be like, yeah, we were that type of gym. Right now, I love it because people try stuff and we're like, hey, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm doing dry needling. I'm like, that sounds awesome. What is it? Right? Well, I'm cupping, or I have chickens to give me my own eggs. And people are like, yeah, I think I might actually start doing that. I love the sharing of ideas. The glass is half full. We are happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. And we live that stuff. It is just awesome. If you are here in Woodstock, come join us. If you're not, well, I don't know. You can't really join us. You can listen to the podcast. Okay. So the other thing you should avoid, baked goods. I know you're like, dang it, Andy, you're listing everything in the world. So cakes, cookies, pastries, donuts, all that stuff. Sweetened yogurt. So if you're going to eat yogurt, buy the, there's nothing in it, yogurt. It's super boring. I know. And you're like, Andy, if your tongue got away from sweet, you would be surprised at how sweet normal food actually is. So anyway, sweetened yogurts. I love that it says it. So if it's got a color to it or added flavors and all that, you probably don't want to do it. White bread and pastas. We already talked about that. Sweet condiments. This is one that catches people all the time, especially with coffee. Like I'm drinking this sweet coffee right now, and it's literally, well, it's not sweet. It's lukewarm as well. It's black coffee beans that I literally just ground up because I'm very granola like that, and Kerrygold butter thrown in there, a healthy dose of it. Like maybe if you put 2 of your thumbs together, it's about that much butter. Yes, I eat a lot of fat, and I am not fat. PHAT, that type of fat. I know my kids are cringing if they listen to this stuff. So condiments, watch out for that stuff. Packaged snack food. So yeah, be smarter about your. You can have snack foods that are packaged correctly and don't have a lot of the crap in it. You just have to be wise about it. And they're around you. You just have to try different stuff, right? And then, of course, it says sweetened coffee, because we already talked about that. The one that I didn't throw out there that I do drink alcohol. I have nothing against it. But currently, I don't drink alcohol, and it's been about 11 years. I have no problem with it. It's grains and sugars and all that. So I'm just trying to stay away from that. So I am the type of person who eats healthy. And in that, I am doing the things that a healthy person would do. And in this case, every diet plan out there agrees, hey, you should moderate your alcohol and your sugar intake. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just get rid of alcohol and sugar. Nothing against it. I'm just trying this out. All right. Other things that I would say to you is take small steps. A step is better than no step. Take something small step. Once you've mastered that small step for about a week, add something else. So, for example, I'm going to do half the crap that I put in my coffee, I'm going to put in my coffee. Great, small step, half of it. Next week, I'm going to do a quarter of it. Great, then leave it at that for a while. Next is I'm going to stop drinking other sweet things. What am I going to replace it with? I don't know. How about water? That's weird. So just drink water. Next, I'm going to stop using ketchup. I'm going to use mustard instead. I hate mustard. Great. Use hot sauce. I don't care. Hot sauce is different. It'll spice up your tongue in a different way. Next, I'm going to try going to the grocery store and just walk around and see what stuff is like not sugary and not refined carbohydrate-y. That's not really a word. And just take one step at a time. Okay, guys, diabetes is serious. I know I joked around there sometimes. My backup mode from being bullied as a kid is humor, and my normal mode is humor, so it's kind of hard to figure out where I'm at, but I use jokes to lighten the tension as well as just to, make people laugh. But diabetes is not a laughing matter. You should take it serious. If the doctor says you're pre-diabetic, you should say, thank you, doctor, for saving my life right now and telling me that I have a chance to undo the stupid shit that I've done my whole life. Thank you. And then actually do it. But here's the thing. None of this matters until you decide, damn it, I am worth it. I am going to do this. That's up to you. You don't have to flex willpower. There's so many things. I got a podcast. You can go back and look at it. It's like 19 ways or something to be more consistent at the gym. It's all about the things you should do to be consistent in anything. It just happens to be the gym because that's what I own. But you could be consistent in not eating sugar. There are easy ways to do this. If you are having trouble or you need help, that's when you hire a coach to help you. Our gym is all about coaching, mentoring, and accountability. Yes, a lot of it is the sweaty junk we do in the gym, but there's other things that we do. We also do. And that is nutrition. That is, like lifestyle coaching. But sometimes all you really need is someone that gives a crap about your life and will listen and tell you, hey, that's dumb. Stop doing it. And you're like, you know what? You're right. That is dumb. I should probably just stop doing that. And we are here for you to tell you you're being dumb and stop doing that. No, that's not the message. We are here because we care and we want you to live that good life. We want you to be happy, healthy, humble, and fit now and into your 90s. We want you to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. We want you to be running from an angry husband at the age of 90. We want you to be able to coach your kids in soccer. We want those things for you. What we don't want for you to do is go to the CrossFit Games. That is not us. We also don't want you to, compete in Olympic lifting. We also don't want you to compete in bodybuilding. That's not us. We're here for normal people who want to do normal things and have a abnormal life, which is super healthy. We want you to get past the average age of 76 and then and not die from the top 10 things and then not be taken out by a broken hip and then die, right? We want you to get you old and awesome. Oh, maybe that's a new tagline, old and awesome. I've thrown this out there before. If you need help, join the gym. If you are not healthier and fitter a year later by doing the things we talk about, coming 4 days a week, working with Coach Laura, logging your results, tracking your food, I'll double your money back. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of no-brainers. I'm going to win every time. Actually, you'll win. You'll be healthier and fitter. Guys, we're here for you. We are here in Woodstock, Georgia. Most of what we do is you have to be here in Woodstock, Georgia. Oddly, the food stuff, you don't have to be. We do habit-based nutrition, not prescription-based nutrition. So we can totally help anybody. I am happy to help any of you guys for free for a little bit of time. So if you require a lot of time, you're going to have to start paying somebody else. But I am happy to help get you on track. My email address and my phone number is all over our website, CrossFitGarage.com. You can comment here. You can comment there. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. I don't do TikTok. We are on YouTube. You can find us. If you've got a friend that sent you this audio and you want some help, just ask. I am super friendly. I'm trying better to be a human. And so I always err on the side of trying to be nice because I'm trying to work off years of being a jerk. So anyway, guys, we're here for you. Take care. Diabetes is no joke. You can fight it. You just have to give a crap.